So, Mark, did you see that dramatic rescue at High Roller? A Caesars Entertainment employee volunteered to be the first ever rescued completely from the system. So, everybody knows if you get stuck, this is how you get down.
Yeah, hopefully they're getting hazard pay for today because that didn't look like any type of fun. I definitely do not want to get stuck up there, especially if you're stuck with like 10 or 20 people and doing this. It seems like a slow process, understandably so, but don't put me up there, please.
This is the version of the ride that I want, right? Caesars could charge a surcharge after they get you down. It would be fun. It's just like jumping from the stratosphere. Would you do that? I've done that a few times.
Yeah, I do that, but that's fast moving. I'm not slow going down in a seat or bucket or whatever.
So on your next Vegas trip or trip to a casino, your comps are not going to be as good. At least that's what Acres wants to do. They've developed this new software that they're pitching to casinos called Player Budget that identifies each player's individual budget and spend habits. So it looks in real time at what their biggest bets were and it's analyzing all the data. I assume that most casinos have software like this, but this is sort of using next-gen technology to make the casino spend less on marketing, give you less comps that you don't deserve.
I feel like we're already there. I mean, the comps that we've seen
Yeah.
have dropped off quite a bit. But yeah, I was when I'm reading this, I'm like, don't they already kind of have that? You know, maybe it's more pinpoint accurate, more up to date, like up to the minute type of stuff. And maybe they do a better job of telling you what the biggest loss was or biggest bet and the lowest bet, all that stuff. I feel like they have a version of this and maybe this is just like 2.0 or better. It will definitely affect us more. Maybe you can't game it as much and go there and do a couple bets and run it up, you know, your first night and get good offers because they'll realize, hey, they were only betting this. There's no chance they're going to go bigger than that type of thing. But I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out.
I think it's just reinforcement that all your bets are being watched. So you have to be more strategic if that's your game that you're playing on not gambling when you're not making big bets and everything, because it's going to take into account, you might make a big bet, but it's going to look at your small bets and it's going to use an algorithm to determine what you are, which is crazy. This press release also says that player budget can be used for problem gambling alerts for players who show signs of unhealthy or compulsive behavior. When has a casino ever used something like this? I don't ever think that they do. It's just a marketing thing, right?
You know what they're going to do with that is they're going to send those people more offers. Like, there's no way that they're going to be like, hey, let's go and shut this guy down. No, we've seen it. We've talked about it in the past with some big notable people that have lost millions of dollars and they keep bringing them back and offering them the world.
Let's talk Houseseats. So Leap Year was a few days ago, and Houseseats is this seat filler organization here in Las Vegas. They basically get tickets to some of the smaller shows, but even the bigger shows when they need to give out tickets to kind of get people in the audience. It's been around for a long time. I used to be a member, and membership is $129 a year for 2 seats or $199 for 4 seats. But they often run these 2-for-1 specials during different holiday seasons and things like that. So a few times a year, you can buy 2 years for the price of 1. But for Leap Year, they ran 4 years for the price of 1. I couldn't turn it down. So I'll be sharing on future shows kind of my experience with Houseseats. I've already seen some decent comedy shows. Carrot Top's been on there. The stripper school at Oyo, I told my wife she has to try that, so she's going to bring a friend to try that. So it'll be interesting. You can also add a second name for $49. So I added her. So it's for $250, 4 years. Both of us can get up to 4 tickets. I feel like we'll get great value out of that. I'll share if they run any other promos. I don't think signing up for 1 year at a time makes a lot of sense. And 2-for-1 is probably the best you're going to get unless they run another leap year thing in 4 years or something. But I'm excited. A lot of smaller Vegas shows, so I'll get to check them out and have some laughs, hopefully, along the way.
Yeah, I think if you live in Las Vegas or Las Vegas area, or you frequent it several times a year, I think you'll get value from this, I would imagine. So we'll have to see your own experience. But I did some digging after seeing you put it in the show, and you know who's like a really big investor in this company?
No, who? Chris Angel?
Yeah. Dang.
I mean, it makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
No, I'm just totally making that up, but it would. Like, who uses it more than anybody? Chris Angel. He's probably like he's like the spokesperson. I'm not only the founder, I'm a member.
I'm our number one customer. Yeah. No, but there were also some other things like attractions like the flyover Las Vegas I've seen on there. I even saw like massages and haircuts. So people trying to kind of generate business, you get a free haircut from like a salon. So there's some interesting things on there, plus a ton of comedy shows and smaller shows you've never probably heard of, some with really good reviews. And then, like I said, other stuff is popped on. I've seen some bigger stuff and then some medium stuff like Carrot Top. I'm excited. I'm gonna go see. He's top of my list. I want to get back to see Carrot Top. It's been too long, and we both had a Carrot Top and a Chris Angel reference in this segment, so life is perfect.
Bing. Yeah, I mean, just going to Carrot Top once for two people probably covers half the cost. So that's, if you go to 3 or 4 shows over 4 years, you're coming out ahead. So I think it will work out really well, especially with this longevity, the leap year special. I think you're going to make hay with it.
And for everybody saying, why are you talking about this 4-year special after it's over? I did put it out on Twitter. I did put it out on YouTube, and the community is trying to share it before it ended because I knew we weren't going to have a show before. So hopefully it comes back, but I'll share when the 2-for-1 offers come because they usually are a few times a year. And even then, that's a decent deal, I think, to sign up. And if you're in Vegas often, even if you don't live here, I think, you could definitely come out ahead. And the time you're spending in these, even if it's not the best show in the world, if you just want to be entertained, you're not gambling. You're probably saving money that way too. So some sad news from out in Primm. Now, I haven't confirmed this, but you received a message from a viewer saying that the last of the outlets out in Primm, the Michael Kors store, is closing. The last time I was out there last year, there was 5 or 6 stores, but he says there's nothing left. Sad days ahead. I went to their website and it doesn't list any stores. When have you ever gone to a mall website where it doesn't list any tenants? Talks about all the artwork and everything else. It's a beautiful website, but no mention of any stores, which is insane.
Yeah, shout out to James for sending this over. Appreciate it. And I don't know, maybe it's just like a place for people to go walking in the morning. What are you even going to do with this anymore? A lot of times when you see malls kind of going out of business, they have like call centers or other type of businesses take up some spots for cheap. So it's kind of crazy that they don't have anything in there at all. I don't know. A gym? I don't know. Figure out something.
It's too far from everything. Nobody lives out there, so you have your limited customer base is people who are driving through. He says it's going to close March 25th. So if you want to get to the last Michael Kors store out at the outlet or whatever, head out by March 25th. Maybe I'll drive out there to see what exactly is going on. I do love all the artwork out there, and it's cool on their website. They actually have all the artists and the names of all the murals. So you could kind of like compare that, which makes it like a mini museum, which is neat. It's just sad. I mean, it's just so sad out there.
So before COVID, was it somewhat busy, with the casinos open and all that, or was it always kind of struggling?
Opened up, super busy, full, and then it's just been a decline for the last 20 years since then. I mean, just slowly less and less stores. And I would say going into COVID, it was already dying out. There was, I don't know, 20 stores, 25 stores, something like that. I did my video during COVID, which shows which stores were still there, maybe even less than that. So people can check out the Primm video on the channel, which has video of the mall during that time. And we have other videos. We've talked about it since then. But yeah, nothing else to say. Sad days in Primm. And that mall has seen better days. Also sad days on the casino floor. We talked a few weeks ago about, we just mentioned this like offhand about how slot machines seem redundant, how all the games sort of seem the same. And it really was interesting to me because a lot of people in the comments sort of agreed with us, saying that they find slots are a lot more boring than they used to be, which sort of blows my mind because these machines are doing far more than they ever did, from these crazy bonuses to the sounds to all the technology, giant screens. And yet people like us and people out there are feeling like there's no innovation in the slot space, which sort of interesting. The casino floor looks so different than it did 5 or 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about the machines that like encompass you, go over all the top and all that. So they're kind of adding to the spectacle of it, but the gameplay maybe hasn't been a focus, and they've been focusing more on the cabinets and the lights and all that stuff. And maybe they need to go back and really, start from scratch on some gameplay and some interesting stuff. And how much can you do with reels? A lot of it is the bonus. Like if you make an interesting bonus, and we're all excited for the NFL Blitz game to come out, and then the bonuses kind of sucked. So, even that, like when they have something new that people really want or excited to use, they just aren't, delivering it all the way.
I do think it's a little crazy because these games are doing so much more. If you really look at a slot from 20 years ago, even the video slots, the early ones, they were far simpler, but some of them were funner, and some casinos still have them, and people will go out of their way to play those games. I know my wife likes some of the old games, and she'll play those all the time. Also, the payouts suck, right? Line pays suck a lot worse than they used to. They're a lot more volatile than they used to be. So you're going to get a chance at a big, big bonus, but you're going to lose a lot of spins before you get that, or on average you will. So that has changed as well because it's less about line pays, more about those bonuses and all the little crazy things going on. And I think it's just like any other industry, they're copying each other. That's why they have so much redundancy is one person does something that's popular and then they all do it.
Yeah, I think you really hit the nail on the head, though. I don't even pay attention to line plays. The little bit I do play slots, like you're just in it for the bonus, and that feels tedious, especially if you feel like a machine you've been putting money in and you haven't gotten there. And then, even if you do get the bonus and it's a really crappy payout, you're just kind of upset about it. Where the line play, all those other spins don't really do anything. You might get one really good line play, every 10 hours. I don't even know, but that's just a random number I threw out there. But yeah, it just feels like that's kind of nothing and you're just playing for the bonus. And that does take away a lot of the fun where you could make a little bit of money each spin back in the day. So maybe they need to get back to that a little bit more and less focus on the bonus.
So CNN had an interesting article about where Old Vegas is still alive today. We love Old Vegas, and so do people who watch this show. We know everybody loves the nostalgia, and so much of it is still around for us to see. We talk about Tropicana going away, but there's plenty of old nostalgia left. And this article kind of went through it, and I thought it was interesting, talking about El Cortez dating back to 1941 and how that beautiful El Cortez frontage and that sign dates back to 1952. And when you walk on that block, it feels historic, right? This feels like an old Vegas casino. It used to smell like an old Vegas casino. I think it's a lot better these days than it was back 15, 20 years ago.
El Cortez, the steakhouse there, I stayed there, a long time ago in the Cabana Suites, and the steakhouse there is the only place that told me I had to remove my baseball hat. Well, that and Pepper Mill, another one on the list, when I went into the lounge, like those two places told me I had to remove my hat to eat or to sit in there, which is kind of funny that they were still like holding up to the old school standards, even though most of Vegas isn't like that anymore.
Oh boy, cue the comments on your hat. I'm sure we're going to hear that. They talk about Golden Gate, which is the oldest hotel in Las Vegas, 118 years old. Also home of the first Las Vegas phone number in 1907 and the first shrimp cocktail in 1959. You have the Neon Museum, obviously has all of the old neon signs. Peppermill, like you said, dates back to 72. It feels like it's older than that, but a classic nonetheless. Golden Steer, 58. The Italian American Club, I don't know a lot about this restaurant, but it dates back to 1961 on East Sahara. Hugo Cellar at Four Queens, another historic restaurant. And then Atomic Liquors is another one that a lot of people don't know about if they're not from here. But this bar got the first liquor license in 1952. And there's rumors about this place that people went up to the roof and watched the bombs go off from Atomic Liquors, which is a neat little piece of history.
Yeah, that one is the one on the list that I've been trying to get to for a few years now and just never made it down that way, and it doesn't work out. A lot of my favorites are on this list, and that just kind of shows that maybe I enjoy kind of the old school stuff. I mean, Golden Gate's my favorite place to play table games. It's just such a cool atmosphere. It feels cozy, but yeah, everybody's having a really good time, and just the vibe that they get going in there is unlike anywhere else. I know other people have tried to, imitate it with the dancing dealers and all that stuff, but it just doesn't really compare because you are so close and tight knit in there, and it's just such a cool experience. So I love that place. We've talked about Pepper Mill, how much we love that, and Golden Steer's on there, a new favorite of ours, all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, we really do love the old stuff, don't we? It's sort of nuts to see. Golden Gate's great unless you stay there. Did you see, like a few weeks ago, I meant to talk about this, but C-Note, friend of the show, he stayed at Golden Gate at one of those rooms that overlooks Fremont Street, and he was up till like 4 in the morning. He couldn't sleep because of the noise every night and constantly complained about it. So I guess maybe not the best place to stay if you want a quiet, relaxing vacation, although it is history, right? The oldest hotel, so maybe worth a stay for that.
Yeah, and the window's open, which is kind of crazy. You can open right to Fremont Street, and his view was of the stage, but the canopy starts up early in the morning with the music. It doesn't stop till late with the commotion out on the street, so probably not the best place to stay, or you don't want to stay right on Fremont. If you're staying at like Golden Nugget or Circa or something, you're a little bit moved away from the noise, so it wouldn't be much of a problem. But yeah, more of a young person crash pad, I would say, hotel-wise.
And from downtown to Tuscany, I was at Tuscany last week for a show called The Jew Man Group that my brother wanted to go see before we went to Ferraro's for dinner. It was a great night. The Jew Man Group, as it sounds, is a play on Blue Man Group, so it's a comedy troupe, all Jewish men, I guess. They're doing old Jewish acts. Very funny stuff sometimes. Other times, it's exactly what you would expect from an act with that name, a little kitschy and stuff. So not sure I would recommend you go out of your way to go see the Jew Man Group, but I got a chance to walk around Tuscany a little bit. I hadn't been in the casino there for a very long time, and I was impressed with how nice it looks. It's sort of a similar size, I would say, to Ellis Island, although higher ceilings, a little bit more open, has a separate hotel. The hotel lobby is sort of separate from the casino. And then the rooms in the back are sort of bungalow style. They almost look like apartment style, but when you actually walk around there, it's nicer than that. That's what I was really surprised. I hadn't actually walked through the resort area before, and the pools look nice. The areas to walk around look nice. I saw inside some of the rooms from the walkway, but I didn't point my camera. Obviously, I'm not going to walk up to a window and do that. But yeah, I was really impressed. Tuscany should be on people's list. It's a neat little place.
Yeah, I mean, you had me at bungalows. I always love when there's a bungalow set up, and depending on what the rooms look like inside, I think that's a good option. And, we're going to talk about another story in the future about how as you get older, your tastes and your Vegas trips change a little bit, and maybe that's, people our age and moving up, this is more of a fit for them versus the party strip type of stuff now.
Now, there were a lot of people, I'd say about 100 people for the Jew Man group, all excited to go there. They lined up an hour ahead of time, which was shocking. We just strolled in right when the show started. But yeah, I thought the show was okay. But Tuscany itself, I want to spend a little bit more time there. They have some good looking restaurants there. And this is like a resort where you could walk around, has proper resort areas to sit, outdoor areas. I didn't really expect that from the hotel section. So, you can always still be surprised. And for people wondering where this is, it's sort of right behind Ellis Island. And you enter off Flamingo next to the Platinum. So it's right in that same area from all of that stuff. And right behind the paddock building for F1 too. You can see it from the parking lot. Really
There we
close,
go.
Silver Sevens right there as
We got
well. So
we got F1 in. We got it. We did it.
yes, we mentioned it. So moral of the story, yes to Tuscany, but let us know what you guys think about anything we talked about today, where old Vegas is still alive, that high roller rescue, that new tool that's going to steal your comps and save casinos money. Hit us up in the comments. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and we'll be back in a couple days with another show. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Have a good week, everybody.